Hey, hi all. Good afternoon or good evening, good morning, depending on where you're from. And yeah, okay. Before we start, I'd just like to thank everyone for being on time. That's really appreciated. And because we have so many people coming and joining on time, we're able to start on time and even wrap up on time. Okay. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Can I get a heads up or a response?
Yeah, Varun, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you. All right. So let's let me just introduce myself a little. I'll take a minute and I'll introduce n8n as well. Some of you might have joined our previous webinars, and thank you again for joining this webinar as well. For those who have joined for the first time, then I'll just give a brief introduction so that you also know. So I'm Varun Poladia. I lead marketing at n8n, and we are generative AI and AI automation solutions company. We're headquartered in Singapore, and we have operations and developers based in India as well. I'm personally based in India. We all work from different locations across the globe. So that's a little bit about myself and Lemon.ai. So moving on from there, I mean, we'll keep talking about what we do, etc., etc., and what we're going to showcase today as well is one of the automation workflows that we've built for other businesses and people like you who use LinkedIn for lead generation. So today we're going to be specifically talking about LinkedIn as one of the channels for lead generation. And I think over the last few years, gradually, LinkedIn has taken more prominence, has become more important, and also I think driven has started giving better results in terms of lead generation for most B2B businesses. Now, again, that's something I'm saying from my experience, but then I would want to hear from all of you as well. I'm sure a lot of you use LinkedIn for lead generation, and I think that could be one of the reasons that you've joined. I assume that's one of the major reasons you've joined this webinar, this meeting, and I want to hear a little bit more from you as well. So my question is, what is it that we primarily use LinkedIn for in terms of lead generation? So lead generation could perhaps I'll give an example. So I mean, the simplest way of doing lead generation on LinkedIn is that you find or you connect with people from your ICP, from your target audience, and then reach out to them on a cold via cold message or through references. I mean, name some references or just simply shoot a message to them on LinkedIn, right? That's one of the simplest ways to go about it. But then I want to hear from more from you all as well. What is it that you've tried, or what is it that you're doing in terms of lead generation on LinkedIn? So this will also help us in trying or in covering those kind of points. If not today, maybe we'll have more sessions, more such webinars on LinkedIn lead generation, so we can cover other things during those webinars as well. But yeah, so open to you all, and just want to hear how do you do lead generation on LinkedIn? If you can probably name one process that you follow, which has shown you results so far, then yeah, please go ahead and please don't be shy. You can unmute yourself. You can also open up your camera and show yourself. So this is one opportunity for you to market your business as well. So yeah, just unmute yourself and go ahead.
Hi Varun, can I go first?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, I'm new to this. I mean, in lead generation. But then I just give you a small brief on how I previously used to get it. Suppose I have, say, from a company wherever I'm getting leads from, or a person, a point of contact that I'm getting leads from. I usually try to the clearest version is I follow up, go with their followers who are, try to filter them out with similar services who are opting. And that is when I try to initially contact. And that's, I think, the most basic way of approaching or generating leads. So that is one way. And references from others who they'll be able to share me their contacts or anything. And yeah, that's one point I just wanted to make. That's
Sure,
from
yeah.
my end.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else who would like to share what has worked for you?
Yes.
Yes, I think you muted yourself again. Can't hear you. Anuj, you're trying to speak something? No, we can't. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. So Varun, yeah. So Varun, we have been approaching our customers using our LinkedIn campaigns, and we have tried to automate this process a bit, but not yet successful. Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
that's why we are here to for your session here.
So thanks for joining. But can you share a little more on what kind of campaigns have you been running? Do you mean, so when you say campaigns, do you mean like ad campaigns, or do you mean like outreach campaigns, cold outreach, manual campaigns, or what? Can you explain a little more?
Yeah, more of outreach campaigns. So I have my digital officer also with me. You know, Sagar is here with me. So probably, so Sagar, just let him know, let Varun know, what we have been trying to do with respect to our LinkedIn campaign so far.
So this will be outreach, I believe, right?
No, I'm trying to understand what you've been doing. So Anuj said
So
that
we are
you,
running,
yeah.
at the moment, we are running LinkedIn campaigns to get inbound leads. And I believe what you are trying to do is will be outreach, reaching out to the
Uh,
people.
So not exactly outreach, but we'll try to find leads. That will be the first part. And second would be the outreach, or I mean, the process that follows after finding the leads would be the outreach part. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at the
All right.
moment, as I said, what we are trying to do is we are trying to find leads via the LinkedIn ad campaigns, and we are trying to find people via Polo as well. So
Okay.
these
Okay.
are the
Interesting.
methods.
Interesting. I'm hearing LinkedIn ad campaigns after a very long time. I don't see a lot of people using or doing investing in LinkedIn ads. But honestly, so I've done that before, and honestly, it's a great medium to get to your target customers. But it's also a bit expensive. So there are pros and cons to that. Yeah. Anyone else who would like to share what they've been doing on LinkedIn in terms of lead generation?
At this point in time, it's only lead generation via campaigns.
Okay, okay.
Also, Varun, sorry to interrupt. Like you just said, there are pros and cons to again using LinkedIn with the paid version, right? Like once everybody is done, can you just give a brief about what would be those? And from your perspective, can you just give it a thought on what are the
Sure,
pros and cons
sure,
that
sure.
you were?
Yeah, so I'll just sum it up in a minute, right? Not even a minute.
Sure.
So we're talking specifically about running ad campaigns on LinkedIn. So like the way you would do ad campaigns on Meta, or you would do ad campaigns on Google, right? Same way you do ad campaigns on LinkedIn. Now the pros or the advantage is that you have a very good and very targeted approach that you can take. The filters on LinkedIn are great. So if you have an audience which is very well defined, you know exactly who you want to reach out to, then it's a great tool. You can exactly target those people, right? And it's very accurate. So as compared to other platforms, what I've seen is that LinkedIn is much or significantly more accurate than other platforms. The cons is, or the disadvantage is the high cost. So the average cost per click, or even say cost per conversion that you would get for LinkedIn from LinkedIn ads would be a little higher as compared to other tools. That's also because the base price itself on LinkedIn is high, and there's a lot of competition as well. And most of the ad campaigns run based on the auction process, right? So the price tends to be higher. But then if you know exactly who your customers are, maybe if you are at the stage where you've achieved your product market fit and you know exactly who your customers are, you just want to target them, go out in the market faster, then yes, LinkedIn ads would work out well for you. But if you're still in a very early stage exploratory phase where you are trying to understand who your target customers are, maybe, then it may turn out to be a little more expensive, because you might want to target a lot more people, and then that adds up to the cost. All right, yeah, guys. So let's move on from here. I think we've invested a bit of time here. So moving on from here, I just want, I mean, what we did right now was just to understand from everyone how you are using LinkedIn and what has been working for you. Uh, Maybe we'll do some other sessions on also on ad. I mean, using ads as a medium for lead generation, and then we'll probably talk about multiple mediums which would include LinkedIn, Meta, Google, and so on. Today we are going to be talking about specifically organic lead generation through a different process. And today we have with us Malavika from our team. So Malavika is our AI engineer, and she is the go-to person for all kinds of AI automation that we build for ourselves and for our customers as well. So before we move on to Malvika, I think she has already shared a few links in the chat box. So we've created a community where you can get a lot of free workflows, all these automation workflows for free. You can get access to all the recordings that we have, a lot of other tutorials and guides also that we keep publishing every day. So you can join the community. So you can network and also get access to all of that, all of those resources. We have two communities. One is a free community, one is a paid community. The paid community will have obviously more exclusive access and in-depth resources from experts. The free community will have mostly community resources from everyone in the community. So again, we're keeping it open for everyone. If you are in that phase where you want to see automation working out for your business and looking at it very seriously, the paid community will be very good value add for you. So the links are already there in the chat box. Malvika has already shared those links. And without taking more time, I'll just hand it over to Malvika from here. So she'll explain what we are going to be looking at today in terms of the process and the workflow. And she'll also take you through the entire workflow, how to build it, and so on. Not every part, maybe because it's a big workflow, but you'll get a gist of how it works, and then you can try it out for yourself as well. So over to you, Malvika, and thank you again for joining.
Thank you, Varun. So hello everyone, Alavika here. I am an AI engineer at n8n. So now, based on what Varun said, so now once we understand what kind of engagement or outcome we want from LinkedIn, so the next question will be how do we consistently get there without spending hours and hours every single day, right? So that's exactly what I'll be showing you today. So we take all these repetitive manual steps that we do for lead generation and we turn it into an automated system. Now think about a usual LinkedIn workflow. You pick a few keywords, right? You search relevant posts around that keyword. Then you open them one by one. You go through each of the comments, copy those names into a sheet, and then you check if you have already contacted them before, like basically check for duplicates. And then you send it out for outreach. That will be another system. So this whole process, okay, it works for 5-10 leads. But if you want to consistently fill your pipeline, right, it becomes impossible to keep this up, keep doing this every day. So that's exactly where automation comes in. It doesn't replace your personalization. What it does, it takes care of everything that doesn't need your brain. So you can spend time talking to people, closing deals, and on the more important stuff, right? So that is where engagement becomes a pipeline. We are not guessing like who might be interested. We are identifying people that are already talking about your space, understanding their content, and building a lead list that is relevant and current. So this is basically the foundation for a modern LinkedIn lead generation system, right? It's signal based, it's personalized, and it's automated. Now I'll just go on to n8n and I'll explain that. Okay. So I hope the n8n platform is visible for everyone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we have two automation systems that are built on LinkedIn LeadGen. This is one system that I'm showing you, which is a simple static automation. It's linear. It starts here, it ends here. It's a linear automation. I'll be showing you step by step what goes through the whole process. But we also have another automation that I think I'll explain once I'm done with this. It is, or else I'll just show you. Yeah, I'll just show image of that. Yeah, so this is the more advanced version of the automation that I'm going to show you. I'll just explain briefly towards the end, and this you can find it on our paid community. It is production ready, so like you can copy this workflow and then you can use it for your use case, right? So we'll be posting that soon. Now let's go back to what we'll be discussing today. Now for a LinkedIn lead generation for this system, what we'll be doing is that, okay, before I jump in, for anyone who is not familiar with n8n's platform, this is how the canvas looks like. This is where you build your automations, the editor. This is called editor. You have your executions where you can look at the logs. You can see a few days back what were the executions that took place and all that. You can name your automations here. You can make them, you can activate them. Activating in the sense, making it production, not exactly production ready. Now, suppose I have a form here, right? This is called a form node. So in a form, you have a test URL and you have a production URL. So when you switch to production URL, you don't need to come back to n8n's platform and keep interacting with the nodes, getting the URL and all that. It's simply like a Google form. So you have this URL here, you take this and you activate this, and that's, you don't need to come back here. You just, anytime you need it to work, you have to just type in your keyword in that form and then you run this automation. Again, if you don't want a form, you can have a schedule trigger. So that's what we call it. Now, like to begin any system, there should be a trigger, a button, right? So that's what these are. Like I showed you, this is a form trigger. We also have schedule trigger that run at particular intervals. Like say I wanted to run at every day 8 a.m. or I wanted to run every 15 minutes. So those are your triggers. So these triggers are what begins your automation. Once you activate this workflow, you do not need to come to n8n. The triggers will do their job. If it's a schedule trigger, it runs at the schedule time and you don't need to come back here. You just have to look at the end. You have to look at your Google Sheet and you'll find all your data there stored, right? Or if you want a keyword, different keyword each time, then you can just anywhere, you can just fill up the form. You get the form URL. You just have to fill it up with the keyword you want, and then you can just, the workflow works on its own, right? So when you click plus here, that's where you have multiple options for all your nodes. You have triggers. Let's go to triggers. Yeah, as you can see here, you have a number of triggers here. You can trigger it manually. This is basically in the test environment. When you want to test your automation, you use this. And on app event, as in suppose you want to trigger when a new email comes in, or when you want to trigger when a event on a calendar has started. So on app events, each of these apps that are there on n8n, they have triggers associated with them. You can, instead of having triggers like form or on a schedule, you can have triggers like this. Like when an email comes into your inbox, that's when you start your automation, right? Automation system. So those are on-app triggers. You have a schedule trigger, you have a form submission, webhook. So you have multiple triggers like this, right? What I'll be using for this particular webinar will be a form trigger. Now, I don't think we can duplicate that. Okay. Okay, so I'll unpin this. I'm not disturbing the automation. I'm just trying to show you how it will look like. So now when I have to begin, and this is in a test environment right now because it is inactive, right? So I would have to manually click execute workflow for me to start my system. So I click execute workflow, and yeah, I hope now the form page is visible. So this is how it's going to look like. You can design, you can have your own UI, you can design the form however you want. This is a standard one that n8n has, but there is an option to have your own design as well. So you give a title, you give your description, and you give your keyword. Now say I want to look for AI automation, right? So that will be what I have to give here. Once I give AI automation, I click submit, that's all. Your response has been recorded. So what this means is that the automation starts. So once I submit the form, the automation starts. this is what, when you have the link, you can do that. You can just use that link and you have to go back to your sheet and you'll have all your leads ready. So now once you have your form submitted, what happens next? So here, what this is a third party tool that is used to scrape the LinkedIn posts. Once I have given my credentials, once I've given the URL, select what URL to use, what scraper I want to use. Now, right now, I have a keyword that I want to look for. So what I do, I look for LinkedIn posts around that keyword, right? So I give my credentials. Then I have certain input parameters to follow. I have my keyword, which I've given through the form. I have my sort type. Now, if I'm not wrong, sort type, there are two options in this. One is relevance, and one is recent automation, recent posts. So now I want to stick to relevance because I do not want just very general posts to come in, right, to get scraped. I want something that's more
The
relevant.
screen is not visible,
Manu,
just in case.
Yeah, you can see the form screen.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'll just share this tab again. Okay, is it visible now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if you can show the sort part again.
Yeah. I'll just go back. So, okay, once I'm done submitting my form, what happens is, as you can see here, you have the green outline for that node. So what that means is that, okay, the node has executed successfully. When a node has an issue, it will have a red outline with a cross here. So you know that, okay, there's something wrong with my node. I would have to go and check for errors, right? So now, once I know that, okay, my node has worked, I go ahead and I go to this second node. So now this is a third-party tool that I have used here, which scrapes the LinkedIn posts. You can choose. There are multiple scrapers here, which I'll be also showing in this automation. We are using a total of 4 scrapers here. What this does is it searches for LinkedIn posts based on the keyword that I've given. Once I have my connection, like once I've connected with my credential, what I'll be doing is in my body parameters, I'll be giving all the input values. I want my keyword, I want my sort type. Okay, like I talked about, for sort type, you have 2 options. One is a relevance and one is recent posts. So I want to stick with relevance because I wanted posts to be as relevant to the keyword as possible. Then I have limit. This you can set as much you want. You want to scrape 10 posts, 100 posts. If I'm not wrong, 1,000 posts is the limit. So right now for testing, I have only 5 posts as the limit. You have your date filter also. That's very useful because you want in the past 24 hours posts or the past week, past month, past year, you can choose that here. So now I told I want to search in the past week. So once I run the scraper, the execute step here, once I run this particular node, this is again, I'm reminding you, it is in a test environment. When you activate this, you would not have to do each node execution. You would not even have to come back to n8n and touch it. You can just go to your sheet and you can have a look at all your leads at the end, right? So now once I run this node, I want to show you the output. So this is how it's going to look like. You have all these details. You have your post URL, you have the text, which is nothing but the content of the LinkedIn post, right? Then you have the author, you have the stats for that particular post. You have the stats, posted at, you have hashtags, and you have all these content related, the title, the subtitle, the URL. Is it a reshare? And then you also have the metadata, which is not really important. I think the stats and your text will be most important, right? So like that, I have 5 posts, as you can see here. Text, this is one post, this is another post, this is another, you have 5. This is a table with multiple rows, correct? So you have all these details here. So now you have posts, LinkedIn posts, according that are relevant to your keyword. Now, what do we do next with that? You have something called the limit node. Again, this is only used in test environment. I just use this so that I don't use up a lot of credits for the third-party tools that I'm using, right? Or maybe OpenAI tool when I'm using OpenAI's node for the API keys and all that. I don't want to use a lot of credits. So in that situation, I use something called the limit node. What limit node does is that it will restrict your input values. If I have 5 and I want to test with 1 first, then that's what I'll do. I'll use the limit node, I put 1 here and I test it with 1. I will look at how the system performs, and then accordingly I'll remove this. You can always just go here, you have your options to either disable a node or you can delete a node. So right now I would like to just show you with one node how it works, right? And then you have an aggregate option. Now, an aggregate option is in the case where you have say 100 posts that are generated, right? If you want to extract the URLs of each of them, you want to aggregate them all that into a single variable. That's what it means. An array, basically. Because when we go to the next node, we have a LinkedIn comments node. So once I have my posts, I want to see all the comments that were there under that posts, right? Okay, if there were 20 comments under that or 30 comments under that, I want all those comments extracted. Now, why I want all those comments is that, so those are the people, for example, if I have given AI automation as the input, right? So those are the people that have reacted with that automation post. That means they are potential leads, right? So you want to understand what they commented, who they are. So going forward, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be scraping their profiles, understanding their LinkedIn page to see how good of a fit they are as our lead, right? So once we have the aggregate option here, the next node, it accepts the URLs as an array. So that's why I've used an aggregate option. What aggregate does here is that if you have your post URL here and I have say 100 URLs, they all are an array under the variable post URL, right? You put them all under one variable, and then as an array you feed it to your LinkedIn comment scraper. Now what this does is that it scrapes all the comments of all the post URLs that I have here. My input parameters here will be my array, and again limit. There might be 100 comments there. Right now I want only 5 comments to be extracted. So that's exactly what it's doing. Now on the right side, if you can see, you have your output, you have all the comments there, you have text here, you have, as you can see, somebody says, I think it's about physical automation, so physical AI automation, right? So these are the comments. I have extracted 5 comments here. They are all related to the post. Let's look at one of them. Like physical AI is a powerful idea, but its implementation depends on people, right? So they're interacting with that post. So you have an idea of the comments. Now again, you have different stats about those comments. You have the author, the people who commented. Now this will be very important going forward. Then you have stats. Again, for this also you have stats. For example, if it's Bill Gates that has posted something, so it's very obvious that the people commenting under his post might be a couple of influential people as well, and they will have their own reactions also. Like they'll have say 10 reactions to their comment, or again following replies to their comments and all that. So that is another factor by which you can filter the potential leads based on the total reactions that they have, right? So that is just an advanced way of filtering. So once you have all these summaries, the main part here is will be my author. So these are going to be your potential leads. So once I've extracted all of them, again, like I showed here, the aggregate option, this also aggregates that. Now, what the summarize does is that right now in our particular flow, it doesn't do that much. It doesn't do anything. This is just to show you the node, like the working of the node. What summarize does is that it has multiple options under it. You can concatenate, you can count, you can select the max, the minimum, or the sum of all. So I am doing, I just showed you that you can do a stats total reactions here also, right? You can get the sum of total reactions. So that's just something you can use if you want to. So once we have all that data, we merge them, right? As you can see now in the output, you have all the comments merged together under one, right? So this is the 5th comment, There's the fourth, and all these 5 comments, they are merged into one. Why I'm doing that is that I have written a very small piece of code. You don't need to remember this because this will be sharing. So all you have to do is you have to once you run this, it makes sure that you have a unique list of leads, just like the name of the node suggests. It makes sure that you have a unique list. There is a chance that a single person commented twice or thrice. Now you don't want that to go in and waste your credits or add on to duplication when you send out for outreach. So that's what this does. This particular node, it's a code node. You can write code. If you're good at it, you can write a code, or you can always go to Claude. I think their coding abilities have like improved a lot. So you can ask for help based on your use case and get the code, test it out, and work with that. So you have this code here. It makes sure that you have only unique list of leads. Now, okay, all 5 of the leads that I had were all unique. I get that. Then I run through this. Again, what I'm doing here is I'm just selecting the profile URLs, because going forward, I just want the profile URLs and enrich them, correct? So now let's run this again. I want only one for now. Once we execute the profile enrichment option, as you can see here, you have everything about that person. You have their name, the headline, the profile URL about section, the location, the company, followers, connections, the count, follower count, connection count, their experience, their education, if it's mentioned. I guess this person doesn't have that. And their profile URL. So you have all this information or their profile information there. Now you would think, yeah, that's enough. We can just get their email ID from this list, and then you can go ahead and then store it. But if you want to be even thorough in your lead generation system, you can go through their profile posts. There is another scraper that helps you in looking at all their posts, all the recent posts, you can say, the past 5 posts or the past 10 posts. Now, what this does, it gives you an idea about them. When you reach out to a person as an outreach message on LinkedIn or email, you need to have an icebreaker, a good enough icebreaker, so that they do look at your message, they come across it, and they know that you've done a thorough research on them, right? So that's what you should do here. You have to scrape all their posts and summarize them so that you have contextual context about them, right? You have certain context about, sorry, what?
No, I think that was well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just continue. Yeah. So this is for context of that person, right? Once you have all that summarized, what I'm doing here is I'm aggregating them so that it's easier for my LLM node or my OpenAI node to understand which are the posts, right? So as you can see here, they are in separate rows. Each of these posts are in separate rows. I am aggregating all of them into a single variable again, and I'm telling my OpenAI node to summarize. I've written a very small prompt here. You can be more elaborate. You can use a better model. Right now, I'm using the most simplest, cheapest model, which is Foromini. You can go for a better model to get a better summary, I guess. And once you have it summarized, you're telling your LLM that look at all these posts by the lead, and I want to summarize them, right? So as you can see here, I have the whole thing summarized. So this shows us some context about them. You have some information, as you can see here, some information which you can use however you want for your outreach program, outreach campaign, right? So once you have that, you have a sheet, Google Sheet node. If you want me to, I'll just explain this node a little more. So what this is that, if you go here, you have OpenAI's node, and it has multiple functions here for generating an image, generating an audio, transcribing a recording, or messaging a model. What I want is I want to message a model. Again, you have multiple other options here. You have Perplexity and you have Gemini. So you can choose whatever you want. I want to go ahead with OpenAI. So that's what I did. And yeah, another tip is that when you are running through multiple nodes like this, and you don't want to rerun every time. So once your automation becomes very complex, you might have to rerun from the beginning, because n8n can only hold temporary memory, right? Unless and until you have a database and then you store all the information there. So you can pin a node. Once you select a node and click on P, you can pin it. Once you pin the node, every time you run, it will be the same message. So this is again only for testing. Obviously, when you go to actually use it, you want new information each time, right? So once you have your summary there, and you just have a Google Sheet node, you give the name of your sheet, you give the name of all your, you just fill in the details of their name, headline, their profile URL, about all this information that you feel is important. You just fill this and then you run them. And once you run them, I'll just show you. Yeah, I've already run that specific line. So that's why it's like this. So you have all this information here. You have all this information here. So when you have another agent, another automation to start your outreach message, you will have all this information to go ahead with that, right? So yeah, so this is the basic automation that we have on LinkedIn LeadGen. So if somebody has anything to ask about this, you can, or else I'll just briefly explain the agentic automation also.
So, Malvika, this is Nitin here. What we've understood is that primarily you've done automation that whatever topic or subject we want to have the targeted list
Yeah.
or we want to target. So, you are able to select from the post related to that subject, and then the person who's posting, the persons who are commenting, and then the person who are reacting on those comments, all of that, they are being scraped. And finally, a list gets prepared automatically. And then for each of that person on the list, this automation is able to create a direct message to be sent to them, right?
Yeah, as of now we don't have a LinkedIn message, we have context about them, but yeah, you can add that also.
Okay, so once we have the context,
Yeah.
Then final execution would be a message to be sent, right?
Yeah, you can have that also. You can have another small automation that takes this information that you have stored in the sheet. You can again use an OpenAI node, give all this context, and you can further even scrape more information. Suppose on Google, say you have more information about that person or that company. You can use, I think Perplexity is good at that. You can use
Okay.
Perplexity, scrape all that information, and then you can you can use an OpenAI, you can use a model, and you can have a structured outreach message for
Okay.
them, and you can even automate that. But yeah.
So the outreach message also can we automate that also, that we use? So what do you use, a sales navigator for sending emails? What is the preferred tool finally for sending the message?
Yeah, Nitin,
So
I'll just jump in here. Malika,
yeah,
I'll answer this one. So usually what we do is we do not get into the automation for sending the message, because that's a tricky part. LinkedIn has very strict rules and regulations around bot engagement. And then when you try to automate that, it considers that you're a bot typically. So then your LinkedIn profile gets banned and so on. Now there are a few tools which are able to do this successfully. I think HeyGen is one of them. No, sorry, not HeyGen. There's HeyReach, I think. That's the one. HeyReach is one of the tools which can be used to automate your LinkedIn messages. Although I personally still suggest people to do that part manually, because getting your account on LinkedIn banned even for once is a big risk. Uh, So if you have to invest maybe like 15-20 minutes a day in just copy pasting those messages, it's not a big deal. Ultimately, you're just automating that part, right? So till the message is getting created, all that is being automated. You just have to take the content from the spreadsheet, pull up that URL, which is already there in the spreadsheet, open it up on LinkedIn, and send the message. That's the only thing that has to be done manually, which is the safest option that I would suggest.
Hmm. Yeah, okay. I think the only problem that I see here is that finally, if one has to do it manually, one would be able to, even in 1 hour, one would be able to maximum post, 5 to 6. Uh, so that's very limited number. If one were to, then the whole purpose of automation fails. If finally, you are not able to reach out en masse to your targeted audience. You know,
But like, sorry
So
for
it
interrupting. I
only
would just
it
like
only
to add
takes
one thing. Can I just add one thing?
Yeah, just a minute. So I'll answer this part, and then Malika, you can add. So it only takes a few seconds to copy the message and paste it on the chat. It won't take more than that. So if you have an hour, you'll probably be able to reach maybe 70, 80 people in an hour using that. So that's one. And Kumar has pasted the link to HeyReach on the chat box. So the same tool that I was also talking about. Yeah, Malika. Yes.
Yeah, if you don't want like to reach out manually also, so in one of these scrapers here, I am also getting the email ID of that person. So you can, if you don't want to reach out by LinkedIn, you can have an email outreach campaign and use that email.
hmm.
So that is one way that will reduce your manual labor even more.
Okay, unfortunately, cold emails are also not working. That's what our experience has been. Somehow, especially the Western world has become very, very insulated to that.
Right.
I agree. I agree. So yes, even if you're using a tool like Lemlist, right, where Lemlist or say Reply.io or several other tools, very similar tools, you can create campaigns which are very, very hyper personalized, and those can be like a conjunction of email plus your LinkedIn message, both together, working together in a campaign. So
Mhm.
that can be more effective as compared to just sending out cold emails.
Mhm.
Also cold emails, right? The way the cold emails have been done traditionally is very, very boring for the recipient, because the content of the email is the same for every recipient. It's not very personalized. The recipient doesn't really get to know what is it in that email for them. What's the pitch exactly? How do they benefit from that email? So the personalization is an important part in this process. So all the research that happens, right, the automation that's being done for the research, that will make the email very personalized and more relevant for every recipient. I'm not saying that it'll probably like make your reply rates shoot up to 10, 20 times, but
Mhm.
significantly increase your response rate and ultimately the conversions also, if you try to personalize it for every recipient that you have. But yeah, if you do both the things in conjunction, which is email plus LinkedIn, then yeah, the response rate will definitely be higher.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, any
Please go ahead.
questions,
Sure.
any feedback, anything from anyone? If not, then yeah, Malika, maybe you can explain the agentic workflow.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there is actually another tool also, which is called Phantom Buster. I'm not sure how many of you all have heard of that, but you can use that also for automating, like sending your LinkedIn messages. Okay. Yeah, so what this does is, I'll just be explaining this briefly. Now, as you saw there, we have a normal like LinkedIn posts, the comment scraping, profile enrichment, and the profile posts scraping, right? What this automation does differently is it has a scoring method. When you have hundreds and hundreds of leads, right? They're all not warm leads. You need to just send it to everyone, and it may not work with most of them. So if you want to be like, if you want a very uh, personalized, or if you want the best leads, then you have to use a scoring method. You have to understand the intent. You have so many factors that go into it to make sure that you have leads that are the best, right? So now for at each of these positions, I am making sure, like for the first part, when I'm scraping the LinkedIn posts, I'm scoring the posts, and based on the in scoring posts based on the total reactions, the comments, the shares, and based on that, I'm filtering them, right? So that will be the first part. The second part will be based on the intent. Based on the intent, I'm classifying them. Now, intent can be how relevant is their comment to the post, or how relevant is their comment to what you're looking for. It can be however you define the intent to be, right? Then once you have classified it based on your intent, you enrich those profiles. And again, even there, now in those profiles, there may be different people commenting on that. There might be just interns commenting, or very entry level positions people commenting, or CEOs commenting. So now you have to study the profile also, and understand which person is more likely to be your lead, right? So again, there also I have a scoring method, and based on that scoring method, you have your high priority leads, and then you have a little lower priority leads. Then you score based on their profile, based on their LinkedIn profile, on their posts. You classify them as a higher lead tier, a medium lead tier, or a low lead tier. So once you have classified the lead tier also and stored it, you can always go to your sheet. You can have your outreach automation that will make sure that, okay, so if the leads are high, you send it into your outreach campaign, and if they are medium, then you flag them for further outreach, and if they are low, then you just leave it. So that's how you can classify your leads based on three different tiers, and then store all that information. So this is a more advanced automation than what I had shown. Yeah, so this is basically what I wanted to add.
So how does the scoring help? Obviously, I would want to send message to the highest scores or the highest priority one.
Right.
But maybe I'm missing something. So how would making a list of the low scoring leads help me?
Oh no, we are not making the list of low scoring ones.
Okay, so we are just then selecting the cream, the high scoring one, and then targeting them only, right?
So the weightage and the scoring that you give here, you can make changes to that. And so what you can do is, when you have a system like this, based on the default scores, you look at the result. Then now you look at how do you think that they are the best leads, and then you modify these. You give priority to comments more than the total reactions. Then you look at how the leads come out. So you just have to play around a little bit, understand which scoring system works for you, for your use case, and then it'll work. Yeah.
Okay, I think this is very interesting. Only issue that I see here is that the leads would be coming of only people who are actively posting. There may be very important people who are not actively posting, but are the decision makers or are our
Right.
targeted customers. So we will be totally missing out on them.
So they may not be posting, but they could still be commenting. I mean, if they are active on LinkedIn, there'll be some digital presence, right? Some activity visible on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
They would be commenting on other posts. Maybe they'll be liking
Yeah, yeah.
or
No, understand.
reacting
Point
to other
taken.
posts.
Point taken. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
either it is people who are posting or people who are commenting, right?
correct. Yeah, and those who are
So,
not doing either of those things, then it's very unlikely that they are even active on LinkedIn.
so you are saying even sending anything to them would get missed out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Okay, that's a point. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think there are others also. I think all of you can pitch in, share your feedback, and ask away if you have any questions. Yeah, maybe if you just want to answer Nitin's question also, that's yeah, fine. And go ahead. How to get these n8n flow? Okay. So what you can do is you can join our community. If you want the template for free, you can join our paid community, where you'll get the template for free, and you can then use the template. So the link is already there in the comment section. I hope you can see it.
Yeah. So Varun, the paid community, surely we'll check out. Uh, and do you have? I mean, can we connect with you directly also one to one?
Yeah, sure. So you can just set up a meeting and we can have a conversation around what you're doing, and then uh, you know try to have a better understanding.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
And that for that, you can share with us your email ID or something like that.
The same QR that you're seeing on the screen, you can just scan this and get the meeting. The
This one.
easiest way to go about it.
All right. So yeah, this you get a recording of it,
Uh, the recording of this,
or this is there on
we'll
your
put it up on
website, right?
YouTube. It will be available on YouTube in a day or two.
All right. Navan.ai will somehow get it.
Yes.
No problem.
Or you can just go to n8n.ai. There'll be a contact us link, and it will lead you to the
Sure, sure.
thing.
Understood. Understood. All right. Okay. Okay. Great.
Any questions, anyone? So we have two communities. One is a free community, one is a paid community. A free community is for those who are open to a community resource or getting resources from others in the community. I mean, they're still exploring automation, but if you are serious about automation, trying to build automation for your business, then you should be a part of the paid community, because there we put up courses every week. We put up tutorials, and you also get access to all these workflows that we create for free. So that's a benefit that you get from being in the paid community. It hardly costs a few hundred rupees or a few dollars, but the value that you'll get from that is going to be much, much, much higher. So yeah, any questions so far? You can please ask away. All right, then I'm assuming there are no more questions, and we can wrap it up here then.